Have you ever lied to the federal government and then tried to come clean to the federal government, only to be encouraged by the federal government to lie to the federal government? Tonight's story slam, sorry not sorry. Here's the story. A long time ago, many, many moons ago, in Philadelphia, in this city, me, Betty J. Smithsonian, was feeling very, very unwell. I didn't have money, I didn't have any insurance, and I was struggling, in a lot of pain, really intense, extreme, debilitating depression. I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't get work, I didn't have any kind of community. I was really hurting. And a friend of mine recommended that I get some resources and find something called Social Security Disability that would get me some money and some insurance. And luckily, with these resources, I applied for this program, and I started receiving this income and some insurance. Right away, thank goodness, this social safety net exists, and I was able to get insurance, a therapist, a caseworker, and right away, I started to get the help that I needed. It was great. I started to feel better, a lot better. I saw a doctor, got on the right medication, and I started to live a more productive life. And after a couple months, I started to feel so good and so much better that I thought maybe I could get a side job just to have some extra money, just some extra cash, keep myself busy. So I got this extra side job, and it was really great. And I started to feel better, and I started to make more money, and I started to feel even better, and then I made even more money, and then I was feeling fantastic, making a boatload of money. I was jamming, man. I was rolling through the streets. I was buying new sneakers. I went to Amsterdam. I went to Paris. This is right after 9/11, so flights were like $15. But you remember those days. But I was there, and I was jamming, and I was feeling really good on paper. But then I started to feel really, really, really bad because I was lying. You know, I was talking out of two sides of my mouth. My conscience started to feel really heavy. It started to weigh on me because I was making a boatload of money on this side with a disability that was no longer crippling. It was no longer impacting me in the same way. I was no longer suffering. And I was started really twisted, and I couldn't sleep, and I was feeling really crappy, and all these other parts of my life started to suffer because I was sort of lying a lot. So I was talking to my friend about it, and I was thinking, God, I really need to get right. I really need to figure this out. I'm sure there's some exercise or some meditation I could do to start to feel better. And he was like, I have an idea. What if you stopped lying to the IRS about taking all this money when you really don't need the money anymore? He's like, it's time to be an adult. It's time to grow up and do the right thing. And I was like, ugh. He's like, do you want to feel better? Maybe this is the thing. Maybe the thing that you want to do in life, which is to live with integrity and be honest, maybe we could do that over here in this financial world, and maybe that'll all impact each other. So I did it. I decided to do it. I was going to tell the truth to the IRS. I was convinced by my friend to go do the right thing, and I did that 2 years after we talked about it. Because it took me a while to figure it out, to do the right thing. So then I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to call the IRS, and I did it. And I called the IRS, and I said, hello, IRS. And they said, that's not our name. I'm an individual person. And I said, okay, whatever your name is, I'm ready to come clean. And she said, okay, what's been going on? And I said, well, I've been taking this money, this Social Security supplemental income, while no longer being disabled in the way that I needed. I was taking the money while I was working under the books, inside the books, under the table, over the books. And she said, okay, you know that you're going to have to pay the money back. And I said, yes, I know. I'm ready to come clean. And she said, okay, when did you start working? Because from that date, you're going to have to pay the money back. And I said, okay, it's been 2 years and 2 months. And she said, I want to ask again and remind you that from the date you started working over the books, under the table, you're going to have to pay the money back. And I said, yes, Mrs. IRS, I've been taking the money 2 years and 4 months more than I was disabled. And she said, okay, I just want to confirm that the date that you give me is the date you are going to start paying the money back. And I said, okay, fine. It's been 2 years and 5 months that I've been taking the money. And then she said, okay, you're going to have to pay all of that money back. And I said, okay. And then she sent me a bill for 2 years and 5 months of overpay of Social Security disability. And guess what? I paid it back. Thank you. Thank you. And it took me 17,000 years to pay it back. But after that 17,000 years, I was able to sleep better. In fact, right away, as soon as I got that first bill, as soon as I made that first installment payment, I was able to sleep better. I started to feel better because who I wanted to be, honest, with integrity, started to infiltrate all of my affairs, and the person that I wanted to be and meant to be started to make sense. I was no longer talking out of two sides of my mouth, saying, sorry, not sorry, I'm gonna just take the money because I can get away with it. So it's finally all interwoven together, and I'm a fully healed spiritual being to this day because of it. Yeah.